So after 120 hours of playing Fallout 4, I think I'm finally ready to give you my full review of this wonderful game. Let's get into that. My Star Wars mania is reaching a fever pitch because Episode 7 is right here now. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more, maybe a little bit more, right here, right now on Dave's Save Point Episode 4. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave. We're going to attempt this again. I did a show earlier. I already did the show once today, and I'm trying to fix my hat. And it was up. 17 people saw it, and apparently somewhere around the 9-minute mark, the screen freezes for about a minute and a half, and I couldn't let that happen. So thank you, Sal, the copious graphics guru, for actually watching enough of the video to discover such a defect. Some of the other people who watched it that wrote me, Josh Lyons, you didn't watch the entire video. Now I know. Sarah, I know you didn't watch the entire video either. That's right. All right. So we're doing part 2. I feel terrible, so I'm trying to be over the top. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. And we're going to start with Fallout 4, my full review. Yeah, that's right. Fallout 4, man. I played 120 hours of this game now. I have explored the Commonwealth from pillar to post, man. I've been all over the place. And here's the reality. It's a fantastically flawed game. There's no questions that it's flawed. We just got the first patch for PC, guys. You Xbox and PS4 fucks don't have it yet. But I do. I've got it. And it's great. They fix a lot of the issues. You don't get stuck in terminals anymore. There's a lot of really cool things that it did fix. And I'm happy that that happened. But the flaws never bothered me. The glitches in this, the glitches in Skyrim, anything Bethesda does has glitches. And we know this. There's two things we know about Bethesda. You're going to hear the same voice from a lot of different characters that you meet over and over. And there's going to be a lot of glitches. I accept both of these realities and generally don't let it affect my gaming experience because overall the games are so damn good and so immersive and engrossing. And there's so much going on that it doesn't matter. And this game is no different, man. Now, I called this game in episode 1 of Dave's Save Point. I called this game Game of the Year. Think I may have jumped the gun on that. It seems like Witcher 3 is the Game of the Year. I have not played it yet, but my God, I cannot find one bad thing anybody has written about that game. And it's just, it seems like a little bit more of a complete experience. So that's probably going to win out. As great as Fallout 4, and it's probably the more addicting game. You're going to spend a lot more time into it, but I think that there's a lot of frivolous things within the game that keep you engrossed just because you don't want to leave the Commonwealth. You want to stay in this world for as long as you possibly can, which is a great sign for an addicting game, but not necessarily a Game of the Year type game, if you know what I mean. Now, there's a lot that you could talk about what's right with the game, and we're going to do that, but let's talk about what's wrong with the game. Some of the issues that people, and even I, have had with it is I think some of the combat stuff is a little bit dated. And as much as I like the VAT system, I love the VAT system. I think it does help with people who are not shooter type people, that are not big shooter guys. I think VATS certainly helps. I think it's very rewarding. I also think it can get very repetitive. At every 30 seconds, you're hitting the left bumper button on your controller if you're playing with a controller like I do, even on PC. Every 30, 40 seconds, you're hitting that thing. It can get very repetitive. And you couple that with the fact that nowhere in the game does it explain to you how to use VATS or what VATS is. Nowhere. It does not explain it. They expect you to already know. So this game is kind of a reward game. That's what it feels like. This game is a reward game for everybody who sat through and played all the other games in the series, the first two, which were completely different games, and then the incredible Fallout 3, and then some people would say the even better Fallout New Vegas. This kind of feels like it's a reward for playing those rewarding games. It's like, here, this is for you guys. And there's all kinds of Easter eggs that harken back to the old games, including one major Easter egg that kind of gives you a tie to the Fallout series, the Elder Scrolls series, which is also done by Bethesda. There is a flower in this game, and I forgot what it's called, but it's it's one of the flowers in Fallout, and I'm gonna get ridiculed because I think it's the death knight thing. It's purple. It's not the dragon's tongue. It's the death bell. They're death bells. No, it's not a death bell. It's not a death bell, but it's one of those flowers, and it's awesome. It's really cool to see it, and it makes you wonder if the worlds are connected. If once upon a time we all were built up. Is this Skyrim? Is Boston Skyrim? Are we all Nords? What's happening? I need to know. These questions keep me up at night. Look at my eyes. Yeah, crazy. All right. But there's a lot to be upset with the game in some aspects, especially if you're not a big Fallout person, if you're not really big into the series. I can totally understand why some of the things would bug the shit out of you. But I think what this game does do well as far as bridging that gap is it makes there's such an easy learning curve. Even if you don't know what VATS is, you figure it out pretty quickly, even on your own, because the game is very intuitive. And it feels very reactive, and you know exactly what you're doing. And it's just like one thing makes sense, and then the other thing makes sense, and everything continues to make sense. And it makes it a very easy. My wife just hurt her back. What happened? Holy. Okay, we're all having spasms in this house. That was crazy. Don't stroke out, dude. What is she doing? Oh, should I pause? Do you need me to pause? Should I call an ambulance? Are you okay? All right, she's okay. Huh. If she goes down, I'm really fucked. Anyways, she's okay. She's okay. See, a professional person would have cut that out, but no, not me. Not me. This is what you get. Enjoy it. But like I was saying, Fallout 4 is very intuitive and it's rewarding because there's not a huge learning curve. After about a half hour, you're fully immersed into the game and you understand basically everything that you have to do. And then you get some new things as time goes on. The game can get a little bit draggy, and I think that's because the main game of it, the main meat of it, you can probably beat in less than 10 hours if you really just grind through it. I mean, just boom. Not grind through it, just bust through it. Just try to run and gun and don't mess around and just try to level as much as you can through combat. And you can do that. It is very possible. But I don't think it's very rewarding. The rewarding part of this game, what makes it so special, what makes it so amazing, is the fact that there's so much to see. There's so much to do. Every building being explorable, basically. Rocks and all kinds of weird shit that you can see. There's a whole nother part of the game that's just a desolate wasteland of radiation. And that place is amazing. Some of the hardest bosses, some of the hardest characters in the game, some of the worst bad guys that you're going to fight are going to be out there. And they're like rad scorpions and shit. It's a very rewarding place to explore. And you'll just get lost. You'll just play it forever. And that's why I put 120 hours into it. And I just beat the main game because I go very slow. That's why I didn't live stream anything. Very slow, very thorough. I try to collect everything. And for those of you who do like to pick up everything, this is the game for you as well. Because you can use basically everything that you find. All the junk that you find, you use to build other items. You use to build domiciles and structures and all kinds of crazy things. And it's just so much fun. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. And the cool thing is that there's no level cap, and you just continue to play after the game is over. Now, the game centers around a guy who's been frozen in time. Takes you all the way back to when the Great War started in like 2077. Takes you back to that moment when the first bombs fall, and you get put into cryostasis, and you basically sleep through the 200 and some odd years. And it's pretty damn rewarding when you wake up. And especially in how you wake up, your family is there, and then all kinds of crazy things happen. I don't want to spoil too much for people who have not played the game, but you know exactly what I mean. There's a very emotional moment right in the beginning of the game that kind of hooks you and makes you want to go on. There's an emotional and moral attachment throughout this game that it's probably one of its biggest strengths, but also one of its biggest weaknesses, because I think political leaning people will see more in this game than any of the other in the series, probably in any of the Elder Scrolls as well. I don't mind when there is political rationale in video games. It usually doesn't bug me because video games are my escape. They're what I use to really kind of shut the world out, especially when you're hurt and you're in pain like I am. You know, I'm a medically retired guy. I got hurt, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and video games and things like that are kind of my escape from the reality of shit. So I turn it off. I try to turn some things off, but this game really does pull you out of that, I think, because it is so politically hitting, more so in this game than any of the others. And that could be a turnoff, and I can understand that, especially with the political climate that we have now. This game touches on a lot of those things. I mean, this game, two of the heaviest tones of this game is about, slavery in a lot of ways, and technological attachment. And it can be a little bit on the nose. The two factions that you're going to hate the most are the ones that are the most technologically attached. So it's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, if you can get past it and not let your political leanings affect how you feel about the game, then it's not a problem. And it only affected me just a little bit, and that's because it's so on the nose. They really do hit you over the head at times, and you're just like, really? It's like watching Avatar. That's what it's felt like, at times. Not all the time, just at times. There's certain moments when you're like, really? Yes, I get it. Trees good, humans bad. I get it. I understand. And it's kind of the same thing in this as well. And it gets a little frustrating at times. But they also make fun of themselves about it at times too. So they're very self-aware, and it's very tongue-in-cheek at times. But it can be very over the head, and you kind of get bogged down by it. That being said, it's not a major hindrance. Even when it took me out of the moments of my, ignorant bliss from my terrible life. Not my terrible life. I have a great life. I have a great life, honey. And yeah, that was convincing. Do you believe me? I think everybody should. Even when it does take you out of it, it doesn't take you out of it for long because there's something else to do. And that's what this game does. Just hits you with things to do. Constant things to do. And it's amazing. Really is. And it's just a fantastic game. I give it a 9. I give the game a 9. There's so much to do, so much to see. Power armor is an amazing thing. We've seen bits and pieces of it in other games where you kind of build up your suit of armors, but in this game, you're full on power armor mode, and it's one of the biggest assets in the game. Playing it on higher difficulties, you're going to find the game to be much more challenging and rewarding. This is one of those games where if you want to feel a bigger experience, go on higher difficulties. I like to play most of my video games at normal difficulty settings. Sorry, I got distracted. My wife's making Christmas cookies, and I completely got distracted. I have no idea what the hell I was talking about. Fallout, it's great. I completely, no idea. I paused it, no clue. None. So, yeah, that's it. Fallout 4, great game. You're going to get frustrated with certain aspects, but it's an amazing experience that I think everybody who likes shooters or RPGs should play. All right, so there you go. The other thing I want to talk about is really simple, man. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Unleashed, man. It's right here. It's so close, and I can feel it, and there's Star Wars stuff everywhere. I mean, look, man, and we got friggin' goddamn, we got all kinds of good stuff. We got the Falcon, we got X-Wing, and we got everything, dude. This is how great this is. The pillows, they're everywhere. Star Wars stuff is everywhere, man. There's collectibles at grocery stores. You can buy Pogs, basically. Look, they're Pogs. Look at that shit. Pogs. But they're like trading cards. And they're Pogs. And I'm obsessed with them. Yes, I'm a grown-ass man. And I'm collecting these because I love them. I can't help it. And I love collector's items. I love baseball cards and Pokemon cards and anything that have different variations, like a regular Pog, and then on top of that you can get the holograph version of it. I'm like, boom, I gotta have it. And this came from a grocery store. Can't get enough of it. They're amazing. So the point is, as you can see, you see Star Wars stuff all over everywhere. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fanatic, and I feel like I've been rewarded, for sitting through some of the things that I've had to sit through. Sitting through episode 1, 2, and 3, you kind of feel like you're due a reward. Because let's face it, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, which I think is the most complete of the 3 prequels, and then, of course, the Revenge of the Sith, whatever. Oh, God, it drives me crazy. Those those movies just never felt like Star Wars. That's the biggest problem. It felt like a caricature of Star Wars, like just really bad actors, messing around in a Star Wars galaxy, a Star Wars-like universe. Nothing felt like Star Wars about it. And that was the biggest problem, is we knew it didn't feel like Star Wars. And I don't mean to call those people that were in the movie bad actors. I mean, there were some really good actors and actresses in the films. Really good ones. They just didn't do a very good job portraying these characters. And that's where I think the inherent difference is with this trilogy, starting with episode 7. It seems like it's a reward because it feels like it's fan-made, and it feels like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. It sounds like Star Wars. The fact that just about all the original cast that's still alive came back for these movies, it's just like, here, thank you for loving this series for as long as you have. I've spent 32 years on this planet, and I've loved Star Wars every goddamn day of it. Every day I've loved Star Wars, and I will continue to love Star Wars, even though that there's 3 really bad movies out there. There's so much immersion in the Star Wars universe. I can't get enough. I love it. I need more. Need more Star Wars all the time. Every day, if I don't do a Star Wars reference, or if I don't see something Star Wars related, it just feels like an empty day. I love it. I love me some Star Wars, and I can't get enough. So I'm very excited to see episode 7. The new characters seem to be rich and full of life and all kinds of good stuff, man. Granted, it's going to be a marketing movie. We know that. That's why the new droid is out, and that's fine. But it doesn't seem to be as in your face and only merchandise oriented as, say, episode 1, which just felt like it was a money grab. This doesn't feel like a money grab. It feels like a thank you. It's like a beautiful thank you note written by J.J. Abrams to George Lucas. That's what it feels like. The trailers give you that feeling, and that's really cool. It really is a cool feeling, because cinema doesn't do that anymore. Movies don't really capture that as much, especially when it comes to rebooting or sequels or anything like that. It's hard to capture that. It really is. But from what I've seen so far, it seems like it is completely doing it, and I just can't wait. Trailers can be tricky, because usually the more trailers come out, the more what the F moments you're having, and you're like, no, I might be out. Like the Batman trailers, the new Superman versus Batman, the second trailer. I'm just like, what? What? Really? I mean, the first trailer was badass. The second trailer, not so much. So Star Wars hasn't had that problem as of yet. Everything that they've released, which isn't even all that much, has just been amazing and just gratifying. And if you're excited for Star Wars, hit me up with a hashtag Star Wars on friggin' Twitter @ThatOnDaveV. You got to do it. Also, go get yourself a Dead on Dave t-shirt, man, over at www.deadondave.spreadshirt.com. Get yourselves a Dead on Dave t-shirt, because why the hell not? It's awesome. Merry Christmas, man. Get yourself a shirt. Also, you can donate to the channel if you like the channel and you like what the Fat Man brings to you. If you like wrestling, you like sports, you like video games, I try to cover all of it. I got a little bit for everybody. So if you enjoy what I do and you want to support the channel and keep some cool things on the channel going, improvements, all that good stuff, you could do so in the description box of this video. Click on the link to donate to the channel, and I very much appreciate that. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Super Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, Merry friggin' holiday to you. That's all I got. So make sure that you're checking out everything that's going on within the channel. We will be doing NXT. I don't know if we're doing the review live. Have not made that decision yet because I'm not feeling great. I'm suffering just getting through this video. I'm pissed off that I had to do this video twice. But I do it for you, so it's okay. And it's something I will do every day. Damn it, because I love you. So that's okay. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing it live or not. It all depends on how I feel. So we'll see. If not, you will get a segment-by-segment, match-by-match breakdown and analysis of NXT in the morning. All right? So that's all I got. Make sure you check out my buddy Tommy C over at Shot From The Point. I should be there tonight. I think I'm going to be there tonight for In the Crease with Tommy C. I haven't been there the last 2 days. I feel like crap, but I think I'll be there tonight. This is the only time I feel good is when I'm doing these videos. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing, my thizzle. So thank you guys very much for supporting and watching the channel. We'll see you next time right here on Dead on Dave Productions, Dave's Save Point. Like, subscribe, and share. Share it to your mamas and your papas and all that good stuff, because they're probably gamers too. They just want you to reach out. Reach out. That's it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Peace.